Well, hi again, everybody. My name is Greg Anderson, and this is the Good Timekeeping Show with Greg Anderson. Now, today I want to talk about another G-Shock watch with some pretty good features at a pretty reasonable price. This is the Casio G-Shock GW2310. As a G-Shock watch, you expect it to be rugged. It is shock resistant. It is water resistant down to 200 meters. And then you start to add some features there. How about tough solar? Tough solar means that the face of the watch has a solar cell built into it. And with regular exposure to just everyday lighting, your living conditions, that amount of lighting should be enough to keep the battery charged automatically. It's just charging every day when you have it exposed to light. So, you won't have to worry about changing batteries, and that can really add up. What if you had to change the battery every 2 or 3 years, and that would probably cost you about $10 a pop when you go down to the mall and have the guy down there change your watch battery for you. So you save that, and you save the trouble anyway. I like tough solar. The first G-Shock watch that I bought that has tough solar on it, I bought it about 13 years ago, and it's still running strong. I've never had to worry about changing the battery out on that, so that's a nice feature. The other thing that I really like here that's kind of a premium above your standard watch is Multiband 6. Now, Multiband 6 is Casio's, it's atomic time synchronization technology. So what it means is there are 6 atomic time transmitters in different parts of the world. There's one in China, there are 2 in Japan, there's also one in the UK, one in Germany, and one here in the United States at Fort Collins, Colorado. So this watch will receive atomic time information from any of those 6 atomic time transmitters, and it will automatically update itself every day to keep itself accurate. So those are some premium features. And when you consider that this watch costs about, as I'm making this, about $75, you could easily find it for that price. If you shop around a little carefully, you can find it for even less than that. So with all those features, this is a great entry into the G-Shock world with some premium features like tough solar and Multiband 6 for, again, $75 or less. Not bad at all. Now, there is another version of this watch. It's a close relative. It's the G2310. So this is GW, the other one is G2310, and that one has, it almost looks the same. It has tough solar, but it does not have the Multiband 6 atomic time reception built in. So if that's not important to you, you can go ahead and get the one that doesn't have Multiband 6, but just be aware that if it is important to you, you might not know at a glance that you're getting the other watch that doesn't have Multiband 6. Also, the price at this time, for some reason right now when I'm recording this, it costs about the same to get the one without Multiband 6. So, and then as for this one, there are some different variations of this that has Multiband 6 and tough solar, different variations of GW2310. There's the reverse LCD display. So instead of dark characters against a light background, it'll have light characters against a dark background. That one, in every other way, is the same, but it does cost more for that. And then there are some kind of special edition, limited edition type versions of this that, again, have the same functions and features, but just have different color variations. And because they are kind of specialty limited edition watches, they will cost possibly 2 or 3 times as much, maybe even more. They become quite pricey if you are, really set on getting the different various color combinations in some of those special versions. But if you have any of those, my little instruction here, my review, will apply to them all because the functions and features are the same, all except for the colors. So let's stick with the GW2310. Okay, some of the things to watch for here. Let me just show you the various modes on this watch, and you can see what it can do. So if I press the mode button here, first we have the world time mode, and you can choose any other time zone besides your own home time zone, or I guess you could choose your own home time zone if you want to, and it will display the time and date in that other time zone. You can change that by using the forward or reverse buttons here on the right side. If you go forward, it's as though you're going eastward on the map and choosing a time zone. The time zones are displayed using abbreviations for a major city in that time zone. And as you see, here I've gone into what would be Tokyo time. That's well ahead of where I am now. And the date just changed to show that that's the local time there. It's after midnight, and it is the next day in Tokyo at this time. I can continue going eastward, or if I use this reverse button, it'll be like I'm going westward on the map. And if I want to quickly go back to Greenwich time or UTC, what I can do is press these two buttons on the right side simultaneously, and that will take me right back to UTC if I want that to be my default time. Okay, the next mode here is my alarm mode. So this has 5 alarms plus an hourly chime. And so here's what I do. If I want to turn on the alarm, just do that, and you see it says it's on, and then this little symbol appears on the face to show you that one of your alarms is set to go. Okay, so if I advance and show one of the other alarms here, there's alarm 2, alarm 3, alarm 4. Alarm number 5 is a snooze alarm. And so what this one does is it goes for 10 seconds just like the others at the time that you've designated for it to go. But then it'll also 5 minutes later go for another 10 seconds. 5 minutes later, another 10 seconds. It'll keep sounding for up to 7 times, which means the last time it goes is half an hour after the first time it goes. And then it'll stop and wait till the next day. So that's the snooze alarm. And if the snooze alarm is set to on, then you get the little symbol there that shows that an alarm is going to go, and SNZ to indicate that the snooze alarm is among the alarms that are set to go at this time. Then I can select there, that's the hourly signal, so I can turn that on or off. And if I turn it on, there's a little bell symbol that appears on screen to tell you that it's going to beep every hour if you have that on. Okay, the next mode is a stopwatch mode. And I've had this running for a little while. This is a 24-hour stopwatch, pretty standard when it comes to stopwatches on digital watches. It has a split time feature, and of course you can also start and stop it. This one will run 24 hours, and if you keep it going, it'll reset to 0 and then just keep going and count another 24 hours for you. But there it goes, hours, minutes, seconds, and 1/100ths of a second in your stopwatch. The next mode is the countdown timer. So you can set this to anywhere from 1 minute up to a full 24-hour countdown. So easy to just start and stop it right there using the forward button. You can reset it using the reverse button. If you want to change it, then just hold down the adjust button, and there you can set the number of hours or the number of minutes you'd like it to go. And if you set it to all zeros, then that becomes your true 24-hour timer, and you see how that will go. All right, so then you're back to the regular timekeeping mode here. And now in this mode, if you want to, see it's showing the day of the week, the date, and the time. But if I push this reverse button here, it can show me the world time zone that I have selected. It has the name of that, and there's the local time there, the Greenwich time zone, plus my local time here, my home time. So you can have those appearing on screen at the same time if you want to. So those are all the standard modes, but here, let me just show you how you set the watch up. When it's brand new, you just get it out of the box. Hold down this adjust button, and you start getting into the setup screen. So the first thing you can set is your local home time zone. So for me, that's the Denver time zone, the mountain time zone in the United States. Again, I can use the reverse button to go westward on the map and select another time zone. I can use the forward button to go eastward on the map and select another time zone. So that's pretty self-explanatory there. If I push mode again, this is, see it's flashing DST for daylight saving time. This is where you can have it either automatically change for daylight saving time, or if you want to, you can select daylight saving time to always be off or always be on. Again, I'm going to leave it on automatic for now. Next is you can have it either 12-hour or 24-hour time display right there. Next, here's the place where you can manually set the time and date. So seconds, hours, minutes. Here I can set the year, the month, and the day of the month. That's, again, if I want to manually set that. But keep in mind that if I manually set that, my manual setting will be replaced by atomic time and date information the next time this watch is able to receive using the Multiband 6 receiver. So Yeah, so this is just kind of if you really need to change it, to another time, you can do it here. But again, it might be replaced. Okay, now here it says key. You may have noticed I don't have a microphone pointed directly at the watch, so maybe you can't hear it very well here. But every time I change modes or when I start and stop the stopwatch or those sorts of things, there was a little beep every time I push those buttons. Well, you can mute that beep if you press the forward button here and see it says mute. And then again, right there on the screen, it will say mute as well. If you've decided to mute that, it's still going to have alarms and it's still going to make sounds when the countdown timer reaches 0, but it's just not going to beep every time you press a key if you select mute here. Okay, next I press the mode button. Here's where you can adjust the backlight. This button right here with a G on it is a backlight button, and you can have the backlight go for either 3 seconds or 1.5 seconds, and this is where you select that. With a lot of watches, you would want it on a shorter duration because that saves battery power. I don't worry about it so much because this has the solar cell recharging that battery, so it doesn't matter to me if I use a lot of battery power because I know I'm going to be able to recharge that anyway. Next, this is the power save mode. So power save is, again, another way to save power on the battery. And when the power save is enabled, like this, then that means that the display will go blank at night when you're not apparently using the watch. So if the watch is in the dark between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., if it's in the dark for a long time, maybe say, I don't know if it's like an hour or whatever, it will initiate power save mode and the screen just goes blank. Now, when it's in that power save or sleep mode, you can wake it up in one of 3 ways. First, just press any button on the watch and that will bring back the display. Or you can expose the watch to sufficient light and that will bring back the display. Or you can tilt the watch. It has a little sensor inside so that when you tilt it to this angle as though you're holding it up to look at it, you can set it for the light to automatically come on every time you hold it up at that angle. But also that little sensor will help to bring it out of sleep mode if you start moving the watch around when the display was blank from power save or sleep mode. Now from here, if I press mode again, so I'm still in setup mode, then it takes me right back to the initial setting my time zone. So I'm going to stop that and get out of the setup mode. You'll notice that here in this dial, this little symbol appeared next to PS for power save. So it looks kind of like a little, pizza slices or pie slices there. So that one activates to show you that you do have power save mode enabled. And it will go into power save mode next time the conditions are right for that. These other slices on the pie are high, medium, and low, indicating whether the battery is charged high, medium, or low. And if it gets really low, then you get this CHG for charge. That's kind of like saying, you know what, you better charge me or I'm just going to shut down. And in fact, when you're in medium or high on the power state for the battery, all functions are available. But when you get into low or this extremely low power setting, then some of your functions start to disappear, like alarms and multiband 6, and those things just don't happen when there's not enough power in the battery. So all you need to do is expose this to some light and get it charged back up again, and all those functions will come back. All right, here's another note on multiband 6. So if you push this button, if you start here from regular timekeeping mode and push this button marked forward, and this tells you the last time it was able to get atomic time information successfully. Here it says it was 12:04 this morning, and that's today's date. So that's a good way to double check and see how accurate your watch is the last time it was able to get that information. If you want to, this is also where if I hold down the adjust button, I can turn off the automatic radio control reception here if I just don't want that to happen. But I prefer to leave it on. So that's what I'm going to do there for my radio control reception. You can, now this is going to automatically try to receive its multiband 6 information every hour on the hour starting at midnight. And then it's going to go, if it's not successful, it'll try again at 1 a.m. If that's not successful, it will try at 2 a.m., etc., all the way till 6 times. But if it is successful any of those times, it's going to stop trying to receive atomic time information and wait until the next night at midnight to try again. So, with any luck, it'll just be once every night. It will check itself starting at midnight, but if it needs to, it'll try again a few more times overnight. So that's how that works. Okay, now let's just take it back to regular timekeeping mode now. Okay, there we go. Now, if I don't want to wait for it to do the automatic radio control time reception at midnight, I can initiate time reception anytime I want to by, when I'm in this mode, holding down the forward button for just a few seconds. If I hold it down, there, now it's going to start trying to receive, it's turned on the receiver, trying to receive that radio controlled time information. And this here, L1 is for level 1. That means it's started to receive something, but that's not the best reception right now. It'll either be L1, L2, or L3. I wanted to get up to L3 for the best reception. There we go. Reception is usually best overnight, so that's why it does it automatically overnight. And sometimes maybe during the day, this is not going to work, but maybe this will work. Oh, see, it's kind of vacillating between L3 and L2 for trying to set itself. Let's just wait a few minutes and see if it can do it. And there we go. It was able to set itself again, and it just takes normally somewhere between 2 and 10 minutes to successfully receive and process the time data. And then when it is set, we'll go back to the regular home screen here. Now you get RCVD, and what that means is that atomic time information has been successfully received the last time it tried to do that. And there you go. Here's a quick little comparison just to show you how large this watch is compared to some other ones you might find at your local discount store. So, not bad at all. It's not a huge watch, but it's got a little bit of heft to it. Here I'll just compare it to this popular G-Shock Square watch, and you can see, it's kind of thicker there, but still not too awfully huge. This has a resin band. It's fairly comfortable, and this will work fairly well for a small wrist too. So that's a good value there. Here you can see that this particular G-Shock Square weighs about 49 grams, whereas this GW2310 weighs about 67 grams. So not too bad. But again, not a super lightweight watch. And finally, let's talk about the backlight. If I push this button down here that's marked G, that gives you an idea of what the backlight looks like. If you want to activate that automatic backlight, you just press and hold that G button. And when I do that for a couple seconds, right there in the display now it says AEL for automatic electroluminescent backlight, or whatever EL stands for. Yeah, so now that it's automatic, here, I'll show you that if I turn the watch up as though I'm going to look at it, oh, look at that. It automatically came on, that light. So you can, again, activate or deactivate that automatic feature by simply holding down the light button. Well, all right, that's it for now. I know I haven't told you absolutely everything there is to know about this watch, but I've probably told you at least 95%. So it's a great starter watch, maybe for a young person if you're going to give them a watch as a gift. You could save a few dollars and get a cheaper watch, but I'm telling you, if you really want to be cool, just pay a little bit more. You're going to save money anyway on battery changes, in the future. So I'd say it's a great starter watch for someone. It's tough. People would love it probably as a beater watch because it can really take a punch, and you can wear it every day no matter what you're doing and maybe not worry about if it does get banged up a little bit. But so take that for what it's worth. Now, most of the time, just to be clear, it will run off its own quartz accuracy, and then just once a day or maybe multiple times a day it will update itself to try to get back to the right time. But it should be accurate to within 15 seconds a month, even without the Multiband 6 capability, if you don't get that reception. But if you do get that Multiband 6 reception at least a couple of times a week, you'll probably never notice that it will drift at all from just being dead on accurate. So I think it makes a great starter watch, and well, that's all I'll say about it for now. Now, I have some other watches to review in the future. So, and even some things I want to tell you about that aren't necessarily watch reviews, but are all about timekeeping. So please stay tuned, and I'll get you again soon with another episode of the Good Timekeeping Show.